Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are watching us. Thank you very much for attending this session. My name is David Sanchez, and here with me is Rodrigo Diaz. And we are going to talk about Azure Maps. This will be an introduction for developers. And just to give a quick introduction, I am a senior program manager in the Azure Maps team. Here you can find my LinkedIn. And Rodrigo, could you please make an introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me, David. My name is Rodrigo Diaz. I'm a Microsoft Regional Director and Microsoft MVP. And there's my LinkedIn profile link as well. And yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it. By the way, I just want to mention that this is the Global Azure event. We are going to have a session just in 2 hours in Spanish about the same topic. So we will have this in English, and then we will switch to Spanish, just in case we have some attendees from Latin or Spain. Okay, so this session is about an introduction to developers. So we need to talk about why it's important for developers to include maps functionality in their applications. Developers basically are the builders of our era. We are basically creating, writing, and enabling this digital transformation. We are basically innovating the industry, disrupting a lot of services, and that is basically, we can say that developers are the core of the business, right?
Yeah, of course. I think it's the best time for being a developer, right? Because we have a lot of technologies, and we have a lot of different development platforms that we can use to create fantastic solutions for people. And absolutely, and Maps is, and I mean, not only Azure Maps, but all things related to geospatial and geographical things is it's one of the things that can make a huge difference in your applications.
That's right. And when we talk about why developers need maps in their apps, something that I want to mention is that maps is not only the image of the map that you can find in the application. It's all the maps functionality, all the validation of addresses, basically all the point of interest for search, geospatial analytics, things like that. And basically, Microsoft has offered some of these mapping features and programs for over 20 years. You can find here some of the examples of these products, even like a flight simulator.
And can I embed flight simulator in my applications? It would be awesome.
Well, you can run it in a virtual desktop. So I saw the other day about it. Yeah, but I mean, right now, Microsoft basically offer map platforms through Azure Maps and Bing Maps. So Bing Maps is more for the consumer side, and basically Azure Maps is more for the enterprise side. You can find basically advantage of Azure Maps through your Azure subscription. So you can start using it right now if you have an Azure subscription. So let's talk about specifically about what is Azure Maps. So this is basically a geospatial developer platform. This is built through different partners that we have. One of them is TomTom, who is providing us all the basically images, and we have AccuWeather for all the weather functionality, and Movit as well. We have innovating enterprise use cases, and as I mentioned before, this is basically Azure native. So you can start using Azure Maps with the Azure subscription that you have right now. I don't know if you have basically do a demo or an application or a use case that you can share with us, Rodrigo.
Yeah, I used to work in agriculture software application where we used a lot of mapping things and geospatial calculations for, for all the crops and all the plots and those kind of things related to agriculture. And I mean, that's one of the verticals that can get a lot of benefit from this technology. And of course, there are other ones, such as e-commerce applications, where you can embed a map to know where's the nearest store, for instance, or if you want to know if the delivery is coming to your house sometime soon, and where is the I don't know, the motorcycle or the car that is delivering your package or what have you, right? So there are a lot of different scenarios that you can, where you can leverage mapping things.
That's right. Yeah. And talking about specifically the use cases, we have some of these here. So as you mentioned, basically we have the mobility and logistics, such as fleet management, delivery alerts, electric vehicle routing, public transit and planning and alerts, city management, all the basically logistics of geolocation. We have some important integration with IoT, which is the Internet of Things, for asset management, location of those assets, store facility mapping, heat maps, and so on. Especially when you have like a lot of sensors, such as to measure the temperature.
Right. Yeah. If you think about it, if you combine geospatial and maps and IoT, you can have a pretty, compelling suite of technologies to create fantastic applications and solutions. And for instance, you can have, I don't know, maybe motion sensors or temperature sensors, and you can map those different data streams on top of Azure Maps and have this nice visualization of the data that is coming from the IoT devices, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And also we have all the cloud, mobile, and edge for basically store locators, consumer web, and mobile applications, like the ones we are going to show you in this session. And we also have like the special analytics and artificial intelligence for all the basically measures that you can do and analysis of the different locations, facility planning, and so on.
Cool.
This service is built for enterprise, as I mentioned before. It's basically enterprise scale. It's ready. We are going to talk about the different price tiers that we have, but we have the global availability through the different Azure regions. We have the web and mobile SDKs. Actually, we will have what we have right now, the Android SDK, and soon we will have the iOS SDK as well. This is integrated with the different Azure services, especially for the IoT. We have the integration with digital twins, for example. These maps are basically updated weekly, and we have the traffic data updated every minute. This is a trusted platform, standard compliance. Basically, we have the Azure Security Complaint. We have the Azure Active Directory integration, so you can authenticate your maps not only through the key of the Azure service, but also through Azure Active Directory. You have their different roles and so on. We have this GDPR, basically the Azure Privacy Compliant. We have the accessibility, usability, globalization, and location compliance as well. And something important is that Azure Maps is supported in the Azure Government Cloud. And this is basically through the different open geospatial consortium standards.
Okay. So if I have an Azure account, so I go and then I create a new Azure Maps resource somehow, or are you going to show that, or how to start?
Sorry?
What would be the best place to start creating these applications? I mean, do I have to create some kind of a special resource in Azure, or?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can find the Azure map service in your Azure portal. So let's jump to the portal and let's do that. So you can go to Azure azure-maps.com, azure.com/maps. Sorry. Here you can find basically an overview of the product, all the different features that we are talking in this session. You can find the documentation, the pricing, and get started guide, and also the documentation. So in the portal, you can create a new resource. I'm gonna hide this. You can find here maps, and it will show up here. So for create the service, everything you need is basically the resource group, the name, and then you can select the pricing tier. Right now we have the standard S0 and the S1. And basically, you need to read and read the license and the privacy statements, and that's it. You create the service, and you're ready to go. Right. I already have one here, so I'm gonna go to the Azure Maps account here. I have this one, and you can see basically the total requests, the creator overview, which we are going to talk about this later. You can see the authentication, the pricing tier, and so on.
Right. So what would be the main differences between the standard S1 and the standard S0?
Yes. So to cover that, let me go to the pricing. So the standard S0 is basically it's limited on the number of queries per second. So this is for small scale deployments, and also there are some services that are basically limited here. You still have the map render, search, routes, traffic, time zones, weather, and geolocation as well. But yeah, primarily the limitation for this tier is for the amount of queries per second that you have. And here you pay 50 cents for every 1,000 transactions. So the standard S1 is basically greater than 50 queries per second. So it's basically able to scale, and it has all the different advanced features that you can see here. So this is primarily for customers with large scale enterprise mission critical applications. And here you will pay $5 per basically 1,000 transactions. Something important, and it's basically the note that you have here, is that a transaction is different than the call of the API, right? So you can have one API call, but you can send, for example, a batch of search address. So you can send like 100 addresses and get the, the latitude and longitude for those addresses. And those would be 100 transactions because you are actually sending 100 transactions. And same with the loading of the maps. For example, if you load a map with 15 tiles, that means that it basically consider one transaction. So that just want to mention that the transaction is not the same as the API call.
So, as the request, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So going back to the presentation, we have also the competitive and flexible pricing. As we mentioned, basically the differentiation between the S1 and the S0. And the S0, from my personal point of view, it's great for developers because this includes a lot of basically, it's very cheap for development, and you can have almost the basic functionality that you will create in an application when you need maps. And also, basically you don't have to do like a commitment of the number of transactions. You actually pay of what you use.
Okay.
Similar to other Azure services.
Sure.
So talking specifically about what kind of APIs we have available, we have all these basically map rendering, which is like the primary functionality, where you can basically include a map in the application. We have all the images, and there are like different ways. Something that I would like to do is basically show some of the examples. So we have the SDKs and the web and Android SDKs. As we mentioned, we have the routing, we have the search, we have special operations, traffic, time zones, geolocation, mobility, data source, elevation, and so on. But it is more excited to show it with demos, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's go to these Azure Maps code samples.azurewebsites.net. And I will leave the URL in the end of the presentation, and then it will share the presentation as well. So here you can find basically all the different features that I mentioned of all the different APIs that we have available with sample codes. So for example, for map control, as we mentioned, basically there are different kind of maps that you can put here. So you can run the sample. You can select what kind of maps do you want here. So let's put all of this. And here you can find basically if you want the image satellite, if you want the gray, or you want basically what kind of map do you want. And if you want to deploy these in your application, you can go to the source code. And here you will have basically the map control that I just showed if you want to include it in the application. So This is a great way to learn and also to see all the different features that are available in the API.
Right. For instance, if I want to embed a new Azure map in my application, and so I create the Azure map resource in my portal, and then I get some kind of connection string or client access, client ID, or something that I can use so I can communicate to my Azure account. You know what I mean? Or
correct. Yes. So and for that we can go to the getting started, because the getting started is a great example of how this will work. So here you have the quick start. So basically, it will give you a step-by-step of what you need to do. As you just mentioned, basically you need to create an Azure subscription. You'll get the primary key for this connection. So you have the client ID, the primary key.
Right, yeah.
You can download basically this HTML, and that it basically has the code that you need. And you paste basically that credentials, the client ID and the primary key in that HTML, and you can run the website or the web page that you can see below here. So
awesome.
That is like the integration using the primary key and the client ID. The other way that you can authenticate is through the Azure Active Directory. So let me look here. AD. Or how to manage map accounts, manage authentication. Let's see here. So yeah, we just saw this one. So here you have the other kind of authentication. Basically, you will need to create an app registration in your Active Directory. And yeah, that will be like the other example. I will include here you have, so you need to create the app registration in Azure Active Directory. You will need to grant the permissions to the Azure Maps API, and that's it. So that's the other way to authenticate if you don't want to expose the primary key of the Azure Maps as well.
Right. Okay.
Perfect. So we can see other examples, like for example, routing, search, in the library that we have, in the code samples that we have. So let's say that you want basically auto suggest. Here you have this example. So you can start typing an address here, and this will basically make a call to the Azure Maps API, and it will return the street address, the city, the county, state, and country, and so on. And this is great because you can also get like the latitude and longitude. There are a lot of applications, or I will say like almost all the applications will have like address for asking that information to the user. And this is a great way to validate and also basically get the longitude and latitude if you want to basically pin, basically drop off like a pin in the map. Yeah, you can do that through here. So
right. Yeah, you're using reverse geolocation, so of course you don't want the user to type the longitude and latitude, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of options, and here you have the source code as well. Basically, if you want to see that in the map, you can do it as well here. You can specify which country you want to search your address, and also what type of search you want to do. If it is an address, a fuzzy, a point of view, a point of interest, or point of interest category.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you type, for instance, Statue of Liberty, then you can get the precise address of the statue in New York.
Yes, that's right. And you can see here, not only New York, but also the other places where you can find the Statue of Liberty, monuments or other kind of examples. So
right. Yeah. Okay.
But that's right. Yes. And it will show it in the map as well. So you can basically do the address fuzzy search or the point of interest category as well. There are other features like the one I mentioned here, like traffic, time zones, your location, elevation. So let's try, let's try the elevation here. So here are like different kind of elevation features that you can use. One of these is for example, the bounding box. So let's look for, something in Mexico. Here, let's do this region, right?
Up in the mountains. Okay, cool. So you're drawing this bounding box, and it's gonna detect the elevation inside Correct. That bounding box. And so, for instance, the red colored one is higher than the green one, right?
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. The elevation in this case is not that much, but yeah, you can see basically the red one is higher than the green one. Yeah, in this case.
Right. It's not much, but it's pretty accurate, right?
Yes. Exactly. Cool. Yeah. And there are different use cases where you need these. Like, for example, if you need to put like a solar plants or things like that, you will need for better.
Another example is crops need some kind of elevation. For instance, coffee, right? In Costa Rica or Central America, right. The best coffee is being grown on top of the mountains. So. Correct. So yeah, you need to know the elevation. So yeah, cool.
Exactly, yeah. And we can take a look at different features like the weather as well. So you can, for example, select a point in the map and get the weather right now. So for example, here in Seattle, we have a very good day today. So let's see the temperature that we have. You can see it right now, it's sunny and it's 20 Celsius. So let's see how we are doing in Mexico. Let's see, Aguascalientes, 30. Okay, it's hot
it's
today.
Pretty sunny over here.
That's great. And in San Jose, we have like 20. So it's similar, the weather, San Jose.
And just to be clear, that weather information comes from AccuWeather, right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
It's one of the partnerships that we have. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The map is basically from TomTom. So yeah.
Cool.
We have like other features, like for example, something that I would like to highlight is the Endure. This will give you the ability to create a map of your own building. So you can see this one, for example, and you can have like different functionality. You will get, this is basically the yeah, the JSON file, the JSON file that you get. And yeah, you have like basically all the map functionality, but if you scroll, basically you will get that view of your private
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you're drilling down, and then you can see your own on-premises map, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's awesome.
And actually, we have a demo with one of our buildings here in Redmond. So you can see, like, basically, it's using the map, the public map that we have available in Azure Maps. But if we zoom in, we will have the information of the building. So in this case, if we have integration with IoT devices and sensors, we can also see like the temperature that we have. And yeah, this is basically showing an alert as well, an alarm, because there is a backdoor that is open. So things like that are possible, and this will be basically private. If you decided to make it public in some URL, you can do it basically in a public application. But everyone in the Azure Maps, in the tenant that you have for that service, will have the ability to see this map. You can see, like, for example, the information of the capacity, the temperature of this room, and also what floor is this. In this case, I am in the first floor. You have the second floor, and we have also the third floor. So
that's great.
yeah, you can navigate.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, you can do this as well. If you want to render the map in 3D, you can do that, and you will have yeah, 3D vision of this. In this case, this is a 2D map, so yeah, won't work, but it's a part of the functionality that you have. And as I mentioned, basically it integrates with the weather service, so you can have IoT devices in each room, and also you get the temperature outside of the building as well.
So regarding this indoor map, how do you create that map? I mean, do you have some kind of tool that you have to install, or?
Yes. So
okay.
Azure Maps Creator right now, it's in preview. It's in public preview. You can go here and create the resource for that. It will ask you basically just the name and the location. And right now, since this is public preview, we have the US. You just specify the name, and that's it. You can start creating your own map. If you go back to the basically to the presentation, here you have basically it will give you a quick explanation of what is it. It's basically the API and SDK in support of private indoor mapping, and this will basically let you create a smart building applications. This will give you mapping as a service, so you basically process all the map, all the drawing of the map of the building. And yeah, you will have multiple level of details, building map styling, dynamic styling for IoT, just the one I showed it. You have the render, special query API, the integration with the indoor, and also Azure Digital Twins if you want basically, yeah, smart building deployment. So yeah, this is great. It's basically the core of the innovation of Azure Maps. And yeah, you can start using it right now. It's in public preview. You just need to create the Azure Maps service, and that's it.
Okay, so if I create an indoor map, then it's saved in my tenant, or somehow it's related only with my account, right?
Correct.
And if I want to publish that application, then it's up to me to expose that indoor map to the world, yes. Right? Okay. Correct. Okay, I understand. Okay, cool.
Yeah, or you can put it. Let's say if you have like a mall or a restaurant or something like that, you can put it basically in a screen, and yeah, you can make the application interactive through a screen, and yeah, users will be able to look for stores or yeah, tables available, or yeah, whatever basically you are going to deploy it. Yeah, that would be the author use case.
Yeah, this is cool because there are so many scenarios that you can leverage with this technology, such as stores or schools or stadiums or what have you, right? There's a lot of possibilities here.
Correct. That's right. Yeah, casinos and so on. So
right, cool.
So the other feature that we have is the elevation. I just showed that as well. Yeah, this basically gives you the elevation of the and you can do it through a line, just like here, through a route or through a box, like I just did it there. But yeah, you can try this service now. It's also in public preview. And in the web page that I show you, basically you can find the sample code as well. We also have the location-based service, like the one that you showed for search, map rendering, routing, traffic as well. And you can find those here as well. If we go back to the sample, we put here traffic. Here you can find basically the different options or controls for traffic. So in this case, let's run this sample. This is in Seattle. And let's see. There you go. Okay. So here we can see basically, the traffic options, the blockers we have in streets. Right now it's very busy. So.
Right. So it's, this overlay of the traffic data is rendered on top of the map, and correct. It's like data, right? It's it's the traffic right now on Seattle.
Yes, exactly. And this is updated, basically every minute. So yeah, it's the most recent data.
Cool.
And also, you can see like the other options we have here. We have the animated traffic flows as well. If you want to see that, you can see.
That's so nice. Yeah, it looks
flow
pretty nice.
Yeah, and you can apply basically the different styles of the map. Like in this one, we were using the dark mode, and this one is basically
of course, you can choose the tile type, right? So exactly. You can use this vectorized tile, or you can use aerial images or those kind of things, right? And then render on top of those tiles the traffic data.
Correct. Yeah, and for events just like this one, it will give you basically the details of what's going on there. So you get that as well. So in this case, that's why it's
that's awesome. I'm imagining right now this I don't know, maybe delivery application or Uber kind of application. So you can have that data on your web page or on your smartphone, and neat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also for like known routes like this one, it will give you like a overview of the full route where the traffic is like heavy. In this case, getting out of Seattle could be like right now.
Are you planning to go to San Diego right now, David?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a long drive, right?
I'll take like 3 days to go back.
Cool.
Yes. This is a great sample to take a look at the code, take a look at the different animations, take a look at the features. The other one we have is the time zones. So let's look for that. So you can see here, basically that the different time zones that we have as well. And the other one is the location, routing, and so on. So any feature that you are looking for, you can start in this in this sample library, and
So your recommendation is to start in that web application and see what's the feature that you want to implement on your applications, and then see the code and get inspired by, and maybe copy and paste that code, and basically you're good to go, right?
The recommendation will be to basically start with getting started, create the application, review the documentation that we have, Then if you have like a doubt of how to deploy something, you can take a look at the web SDK. Yeah, that's basically the recommendation, the different steps. In fact, I created a sample delivery service application. It's in my GitHub. Here is the link. I will share these links with you as well. And yeah, from here you can see like basically this is basically a fictitious a scenario where you have to drop like different orders, and each order has a different drop-off. Obviously, this is like the diagram of the application. So it's basically using JavaScript at the front end. It's using .NET 5 the back end. It's Cosmos DB to store all the orders information. It's also using Azure Key Vault to store the credentials of the Azure Maps, the application authentication, and so on. You can deploy this example and yeah, basically have it here running. So it's simple CRUD operations that you can find in the application. It will give you a different set of orders. You can see here basically, yeah, the different orders that we have. I'm going to refresh this. And let me refresh this. And you can get like the route, you can edit the orders, and so on. So yeah, let's edit this one. You can actually it's taking the same feature that I just showed before. If you start typing here the address, it will get for you the street, the city, the state, and so on. Yeah, I can get the route from where you are. For some reason, it's not loading. It's here, basically, the website. So here you go.
So the URL is sample delivery service.azurewebsites.net. Okay.
Yes. So in this case, let's see with this yeah, with this route. So it takes the location where I am, and it here shows the drop-off. Yeah, if I edit this, basically it will give me the map. Where is the drop-off? So let's see if I can change it to one Microsoft Way. There you go, Microsoft Way, Charlotte. Okay, that one. That one is a little bit far.
That's a long drive, yeah.
Work. Here you have basically that drop-off.
Oh my God.
That is because it's not loading. So here you go. Okay, so it gives me the route from the location, yeah, where I am. And yeah, you can create new orders. You can basically see the details. Where is this order? Where is the drop-off? And so on. So yeah, if you want to take a look at the application, basically I built using this yeah, sample code, the web SDK. And also you can build a mobile application using the Android SDK as well.
So yeah, just to understand your application. So you created this ASP.NET Core application, and then you added the Azure Map control, and exactly. Okay.
And the functionality, yeah, it's using not only the map rendering, but it's also when you create like a new order, basically the auto suggest, and also it's using the yeah, the different drop-off, the pin, and so on. So in the map, in this case, for example, for the list, you can see that these two are completed. So these are made green. But if I change, let's say this one, and I put that this is not completed, and I save it, then you can see that basically, let's do this one, save.
So that pin is clustering, all the different orders or something.
Exactly. Now it changed from green to blue, and the other one is because
I see.
So
yeah. Okay, I see.
So if
it's the number of packages. Yeah. I thought it was it was clustering the different orders, but it's not. It's just the
yeah. This is the number of packages.
The order number or something. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you can see that this one is green and the one in Charlotte is blue because it's pending. So. Same, if I go to the homepage, I will find the Charlotte one here because this is the pending delivery. So yeah, it's just a way to control like, yeah, the service deliveries. So yeah, you have there.
That's nice.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, it's on GitHub. So yeah, it's a good example. Then you have the map control. That's the one that we show. We have the different styling. We have the drawing options and animations. Yeah, symbols. Yeah, basically all this functionality that you can see here. It's basically on the map. And if you want an example of yeah how to deploy that, you know where to go. So yeah, we have that as well.
Right.
We can talk about the special operations as well, but it's basically the different kind of geofence that you can do in the map, and it will give you, yeah, different analytics of the maps that you have there. Like if you want to basically, yeah, support fences or things like that, you can do that. And yeah, you can measure like distance, things like that as well.
Yeah, geofencing is particularly interesting for those kind of applications where you want to notify the users that they are approaching a particular place. So it's great for marketing purposes, and it's great for you know, giving them a special promotional code or something for the first people that, you know, that go to that particular store. You know that it's a great way to increase your functionality in your applications.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you have IoT devices. So in this case, basically it's simulated device telemetry. You get that through the IoT hub. Then you have the event grid. You can basically get those requests back and forth from Azure function to Azure Maps, get all the functionality of the geofencing, and then store that in a blob storage. So in the end, you can have like something like this, especially if you have like machines and you don't want those machines to overlap or yeah, basically create an accident, something like that. You can basically draw that geofencing and yeah, separate the machines as well.
Right, cool.
The other service that it is still in public preview is the mobility services, especially like public transportation. So yeah, if you are walking or biking or using the public transit routing, you can basically take a look at that. And yeah, it will give you yeah that information as well. We have coverage for over 3,000 cities, and yeah, you can see here all the different use cases and also the features that I just mentioned as well. So this is great for yeah, city planning. If you have like basically like tracking systems and you want to see like what are the different yeah, transit options that you have, then yeah, this would be a very good option.
Yeah, and or other kind of applications could be, I don't know, maybe when you're traveling, right? You have this city guide, I don't know, for instance, Seattle, and
Correct.
I download the application in my smartphone, and I can know these kind of things in that particular application that is using the mobility services of Azure Maps, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Or let's say that you are planning to put, I don't know, a coffee shop. You will be probably looking for the close bus stop because you know that there will be people waiting for the bus there. So like in this case, you can put like a coffee shop here. And it's basically very close to the bus station or the bus stop. So yeah, in that case, I mean, it's good for planning your business according to the traffic that you have there as well.
Cool.
Then we have the weather service, the one that we showed yeah, before. We have not only the actual weather where you want, but if you want basically historical weather, you can get it as well from the API. And yeah, this is basically using the partnership that we have with AccuWeather. And yeah, this is basically a great way to get the forecast of a specific location. You can get up to 45-day forecast as well. So you can get alerts, yeah, and things like that. So yeah, this is a great sample for yeah, integration of not only mapping functionality but also yeah, weather.
Yeah. Nice.
We have the Power BI integration. So if you want to render maps, if you use the mapping inside the Power BI, it's basically using Azure Maps. And you have the 3D option. You have all the geo JSON reference layers that we have there, legend support, 3D, conditional formatting, depending on the data that you have in Power BI, and so on. So this is also another integration of Azure Maps. And talking about the Power BI, we also have the Power Maps, the Power Apps with the Azure Maps. So you can basically embed the apps functionality inside the Power Apps that you have. And this will give you basically all the functionality that you need in your application without writing any code. So that's another drag and drop and low code development if you are basically a power user or
Yeah, of course. So if I understand correctly, when you drag and drop this map control in Power Apps, it's using the Azure Map control, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And we have the geocoding as well, all the different use cases that you can see here. We have different features. This is basically for search for an address, some point, and also validate address, getting like the auto suggestion, like the one I showed before. Structure and structure, restrict results, so on. So you can do batch geocoding as well. Up to 10K requests in one single API call. Obviously, this will count as 10K transactions, right? So just to mention that. But if you have a database with a bunch of addresses and you want to get like the latitude and longitude for those addresses that you have, you can do a batch basically call, and you can store that in the database.
Exactly, yeah.
We have the point of interest search on all the basically point of interest that I showed before, like the one that we look for the Statue of Liberty. And we have all the different PO categories, POI categories, geometry search, nearby, and so on. And you can do also the batch search. So here you can see a table of all the different search service capabilities. You can see that as well in the Azure Maps documentation. We have the routing. Basically, if you, like the one I show in my application, if you want to go from point A to B, basically you can get like the weather conditions, you can get the traffic data, and that's basically use.
Cool.
Something important here is that also you can get like a truck routing. In basically, you can see like in some highways you're not allowed to have overweight vehicles in the highway, so you can get like that kind of routes for trucks and so on. You can do batch routing, matrix routing. If you have like different kind of drivers or deliveries, and you have like some specific map coverage, you can do a matrix routing as well. And that's you can see here the different route service capabilities. And this is also part of the Azure Maps documentation. So
okay,
you can see all the features and sample codes there as well. The traffic, the one that we showed before, basically you can see what's happening in real life. Traffic flows updated every minute, incidents every 2 minutes. And this is great to basically include it as part of the routes that you have.
Right.
And then the mobility service that we just talked about it, the service capabilities, time zones is the one that we have there. Especially basically if you are taking long routes and there are different time zones where you have that.
Exactly. That's very important. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. The other one is the IP to location. So you can get the location based on the IP. This is great for identify the geography distribution. Could customize or block basically the content that you are basically providing, depending on the location of the customer. Yeah, basically have the geopolitical boundaries or regulations. Yeah, depending on.
Right. Yeah. So this IP is internet. I mean the IP address of your connection, and then you can geolocate that address to a particular lat long, right?
Exactly. Yes,
okay.
That's right. And yeah, just to finish the session, here are the different resources that we have available. So the azure-maps.com is the azure.com website that I show it. The Azure Maps sample, basically you can find different applications. We have the Azure Maps blog. We have the videos available. We have all the documentation, the getting started guide, the tech blog, which is based on the tech community, the Microsoft tech community. And we also have case studies, which are like customer stories and partner as well. And yeah, I mean, these are great resources to learn. I will highly recommend to start with the getting started, and then the documentation, and then the samples, the library samples. And yeah, that's from my side. I don't know, Rodrigo, if you have like anything to add, any other question or?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you, my friend. And yeah, I mean, I'm one of the developers that are interested in this particular technology. So I'm sure I'll have some questions for you. So I'll let you know.
Yeah.